We are kicking off the NHL season 25-26.
Yeah.
Say go. It's the Real Kyper and Bourne Show, season 5. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee, Jake the Snake Schultz, Derek Brandeo. We are live on Sportsnet 590 The Fan, Sportsnet 650 in Vancouver, 960 in Calgary, Sportsnet Plus. And you can always find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube after the show. This will be the final hour before we jump to 2, starting tomorrow. So we'll remind everybody this hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. I'm happy we're going to 2. Do I want to work double? Not necessarily, but we've been caught a couple times going, we had so much more to talk about.
Yeah. And you know what? It's the return of Leafs Hour, and Leafs fans have not loved that we haven't given them their hour. So
Yeah. And I think we've been pretty good boys when it comes to not over-leafing the show.
Mm-hmm.
But I am definitely, we need to stretch our legs. We need to have a real Toronto conversation. So
Did you drink tea and lemon last night for your voice?
Why, do I sound better?
No, not really, to be honest with you.
I don't sound better than I did yesterday.
not really.
Not really.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't get a
Do
sentence
you
together
feel
yesterday.
better?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, well, I can just, listen, your guys' show, I can just shut up.
No. We don't want that. We don't want that at all.
So you think I sound the exact same
Yeah,
as
you're still a
yesterday?
little raspy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I sound the same.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I sounded like a prepubescent
Please
boy.
tell
I
me
couldn't read.
you're not a yeller at the TV like you are down at the Dome.
Are you a TV yeller?
No.
No.
Depends. But no, I was going to be watching in my basement. Probably not. But
Okay, so can I just remind you to pace yourself? Tuesday hit.
Much as we get 'em.
Obviously, at times it'll go on his schedules throughout the year, but we're lucky to have him back for another season here on the Real Kyper
And
and
just
Bourne Show.
so many goalie questions. Not even remotely joking about that. Like right now, I can't imagine a day I've had more goalie questions.
Here's the first question I'm going to ask you guys before we get to Valley.
Okay.
Okay, does he dare wear his Yankee hat on this hit?
So would he have worn that before the first game of the series? We didn't see. Yeah, he would have.
Thursday.
Yeah.
The season.
No, there's no chance he
The
wears it
season
today.
opened Friday, Saturday for the 2 wins.
That would be crazy town. He's an athlete.
I
Superstitious,
think he needs
presume.
to double down, triple down.
You know what he should do?
on
He
a Yankee
should wear it
hat.
backwards. There's something. Rally cap style up with the
Sammy,
brim up.
is that hat just stuck on your head for the rest of this playoffs?
one of them is.
Okay.
One of my 15. But
Jeez,
I went for the white panel that's brought them so much success.
They
so
are doing the white panel, which to me is the best one by a good distance.
I'm assuming they'll probably go blue, the royal blue ones tonight with the white pants against the pinstripes, or maybe they go all baby blues with the old school look. I'm not sure what they're going to do, but they'll be wearing the white panels, that's for sure. So I went with the white panel today.
Schneider
but this
said
is an
it's
old
the only
school
one
one.
he packed.
Yeah.
All
What
right.
are you looking at me like that?
No, I'm good. I don't know. I always look at you sometimes like you got 3 heads.
What?
So news of the day, couple waiver wire.
Particularly the goaltending market, which opens up a pretty good conversation with Valley.
Also,
Ville Husso, who once upon a time was a real strong candidate for being a NHL starter.
Yeah, he was
Not
red
too
hot
long
in
ago,
St.
coming out of St. Louis, Steve Yzerman picks him up via free agency, if I'm not mistaken, gives him a pretty good contract only to punt on a 4th down when he got a chance. And he's been scrambling ever since.
Mm-hmm. You know, he played all of 4 games for Anaheim. Anaheim chose Peter Mrazek as the backup over him, which is not a glowing review in my estimation. However, Husso has shown himself to have some really – he's had great years.
Yes.
And he technically, I think, is generally more liked. Gorgiev is also on waivers today.
What's the one thing missing from really talented goalies, though, to
Good teams
to be
in front of him.
bona fide starters? Just consistency,
Yeah.
right?
Right, but it's nice that the ceiling seems to be there. If he's maybe behind a better defensive team than, say, Detroit or Anaheim was, maybe someone likes him. Does Toronto like him more than Caden Primo, who they just picked up?
I'm looking at Husso had one really good year.
Yeah.
the last year with the Blues, and then he
40
got the,
games, 919 save percentage.
and then he went to Detroit, and his first year in Detroit is 56 games. He had an 896 with a 311 goals against, and then he kind of really hasn't got it back on track since then. So he's had one really good season.
Yeah.
Okay, let's welcome him in. It's Tuesday, which means Steve Valiquette on the Real Kipper and Bourne Show. Analyst for the New York Rangers.
He hung it up today.
CEO, Clearsight Analytics.
It's a better move. I knew you were superstitious.
I won the bet. You didn't dare wear the Yankee hat, but then you went bigger. You went jersey behind you.
I can't go hat head on TV. I've got to get out of here quickly after we get off and
Oh,
get
yeah.
myself to New York.
Yeah.
I don't even know if there's going to be enough room on the train, Sammy. I mean, the city's ready to erupt right now.
Sammy, excited or what?
Erupt with, tears and yelling at their own team. Is that?
I heard you chirping me the other
Oh,
day.
yeah. A
Easy,
Tobico
Sam.
boy cheering for the Yankees. What the hell?
Lot
Hey,
of
by the way, I've lived in the United States for 28 years. All right, I'm 48 years old. I'm allowed to cheer for the Yankees now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Whatever
Yeah.
helps you sleep at night, bud.
Old green light by me, Valley. Old
We're
green
good.
light.
We're good. Okay, let's get this thing going here, Valley, just in terms of goaltending market and most recently pretty solid citizens, serviceable guys in the National Hockey League at the goaltending position, and Gorgiev and Husso. Is there a chance one or two get picked up? And who's out there that could be looking? We just saw Caden Primo get picked up by the Leafs. Are they still looking by chance?
See, this is where I want to start, because Caden Primo, guys, he's always been a top prospect, and I've been hearing about him since he was really young. He grew up just outside of New Jersey on the Pennsylvania-New Jersey line, so he was somewhere close to the youth hockey kids that I was coaching, and everybody was always talking about him. And what went wrong in Montreal with Caden Primo was that he was on a yo-yo going up from the American League to the NHL, and they never let him just sit and settle. If you look back at all of the best true number ones over the last 20 years, there's a common thread. They played 200 games in the minor leagues or in Europe before coming over here. Like Henrik Lundqvist played 236 games in Europe before he ever stepped on Madison Square Garden ice. And that's one example of a list of about 15, including in that list, like 5 Hall of Famers. For whatever reason, since we had basically a wave of guys retiring over the last 7-8 years, I think a lot of goalies had to get rushed. Caden Primo's one of them, but if you look at his year-by-year stats, guys, from every level he's played at, he dominated in college, and he was pretty much borderline dominating the American League, but then brought up to the NHL, has an .863 save percentage, and then loses a lot of confidence. And I think that just goes hand in hand. Without the patience of the organization, you lose guys. And that's where you look at his overall numbers. He had one issue over the last 2 years, and that was clear-sighted shots. It was the shots that he could see. And those expose goalies when they are not quite ready for the NHL. I think that scares teams. I think it scared Montreal. And to me, that's patience. And it's also using your posture and your stance to make your save. It can be taught. And I think that last year when he hit a high mark of, I think it was 927 in the minors, followed by a bit of a weak postseason, I think that was probably the straw that broke the camel's back from Montreal's end, and they gave up on him. But I was looking at really his numbers today as far as games played and consistency. And that's the other piece, right? Because every team wants a chance to win. Now, his games played over the last 2 years, 34 games played over the last 2 years for the Montreal Canadiens. But he has a 47% game percentage. So if you have a 47% game percentage, that means you're giving your team a positive performance only 47% of the time. Now, the two goalies that you listed on waivers in a moment ago, Kyper, Georgiev is 45% last year, positive game percentage, and Husso was 39%. So these guys end up on waivers because they're not fitting the consistency piece that all teams want. At the end of the day, guys, everybody just wants a chance to win the hockey game. And if the goalie isn't giving you that, it's it's really a reason to punt on him early. But to note on this, the best goalie last year in actually the last 2 years in positive game percentage is Stolarz. 89% of the time that Stolarz has played over the last 2 years, he's had a positive game. Jack Greaves, who I brought up last week about hopefully being the breakout guy that I anticipate him being in Columbus, 85% of the games that he's started over the last 2 years have been positive games. And funny to note on this one, Marilainen, 83%. He's the third best goalie in positive game percentage. So these things matter. Hildeby, if he was your option, it's only 33% chance that he's going to have a strong game. Right. So I think you're looking at consistency, and then where you can help Caden Primo. He can play for you, but you got to make sure that he's being able to have confidence on the open shot.
Yeah, I mean, he fairly highly touted guy, as you mentioned, and 6'3", still just 26 years old. There's clearly some upside there, and probably no reason to punt on him and grab Husso, to your point. So interesting to see what the Leafs do there. What are your thoughts on the places that these guys left from? So Georgiev was in Buffalo, where they have Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, Alex Lyon, Colton Ellis. Georgiev was there. Why would
Levi.
they give up on Georgiev there? And also, was Husso not as good as Mrazek? Because that's who they kept in Anaheim.
Yeah, I know. You know what, Mrazek? Mrazek is a better NHL serviceable goalie today. So not a bad play. Sneaky, but Anaheim had really good goaltending last year. And they're trying to get closer this year. They're trying to replace Gibson with some positive starts. So I can see what they're doing there. Dostal, he's a number one. I think he's a true number one. He's being paid and I think he's going to be able to take the net, but with the right support. So you don't want to have somebody under him that's maybe too uneasy to get starts. The problem with Georgiev, I think, is that he just pisses people off, in a way that you can't show up your teammates. And there's enough evidence there where when it's not going well, you can't break your stick and show them up. It works when you're a star. You can get away with a little bit, but as soon as your play slides or you drop below 90 in save percentage, you're shown the door, and that's a big piece, I think.
Like Sam on our show.
Yeah.
If he gets out of hand a little bit, and
you got to straighten him out.
Georgiev fought D'Angelo, right? That was the thing.
Yeah, there was that in New York. Look, I've covered him a long time. A deep will to win, and he believes in himself. Almost to a detriment where it's not based on reality, but to a certain degree, I think that you got to fit the role too when you're a backup, right, guys? You got to be early, you got to stay late, and nobody wants any funny business. So the worst thing you can be as a hockey player is a distraction.
Valley, for Leaf fans, another disappointing end last season, but there was a sense with Stolarz and Joseph Woll, there it wasn't a top. You didn't have to go look for goalies. You just assumed that those two guys would be back with a little bit more experience. That it was a solid feel. And then you had the prospects of Hildeby down there, Akhimov. And there's a feeling like there's real good depth here. And, Joseph Woll's now gone. We saw James Reimer come in. This one kind of left me scratching my head because I don't think anybody thought James Reimer had anything left. But they spent a week and a half investing an exhibition game in, which could have gone to anybody else. Yeah. And then now they went to Caden Primo. They could be contemplating picking up Husso. But there's nothing behind Stolarz, who last time I checked has never played more than 34 games in the NHL in one season. So how did it go from a ton of depth to, I don't know, a concern or something deeper?
Well, hey, Kyper, look, in a couple of weeks, if Wall's back, what are we talking about, right? And look, there's not a lot out there. There's just not a lot out there, guys. Look, you look at Primo one more time, and one thing I forgot to add was that he had a bad start last year. He had a really bad October, but the year before, he was right there with Lankinen as maybe a breakthrough guy because Bourne, again, we talked about this last year before the season began, and it looked like, Lankinen was going to be a breakout guy, and he was. Now, he really helped Vancouver stabilize everything in net, but he was right there with Kyper Bourne. If you were looking for a goalie at the time that Vancouver signed Lankinen, Kyper Bourne was on your radar, and you probably called Montreal. They were right there. It was in the 23-24 season in adjusted save percentage, Lankinen was 12th and Kyper Bourne was 15th. So it's not like they were not in the same neighborhood. To me, Kyper Bourne just didn't have the right path of development. He was rushed early, lost confidence last season. And now you could, I don't know, you can get him back, but it would have been great to get him back with Wall here, rehab him up in the minors, and then get him in when time comes. But, I guess he wouldn't end up in Toronto if that was the case, because you would be all set with Wall and Stolars anyway.
Valley, I don't, we didn't talk about this pre-show, so I don't know if you have anything in these guys. But going into this season, I'm super interested in two goalies in particular on rebuilding teams. Spencer Knight is a guy that the Blackhawks have bet on to lead them. And then San Jose's got that Askarov kid who is really highly touted but seems kind of slow in development. What are your thoughts on those two organizations being like, maybe we have a number one?
Okay. Askarov, he has like big ceiling, but he has, a massive floor. He can really ride highs. And if you've followed him at all, he's a wild card. He's a free spirit. So, it's not always easy to, in the environment that he's going to be playing in San Jose. It's hard sometimes to get a read on what comes next with some of these guys because they are playing in a very difficult environment. You know what? Back to Primo for one split second. The one thing that happened to him last year too was he was in the 5th worst environment at the time that he played his final start of the season, December 12th. Wow. He was playing in a very difficult environment. So if you don't have everything going for you, plus you're playing in the most difficult place to play, we know how much east to west is an influence now in the NHL. There's a lot more screens. Teams are taking fewer point shots without screens. The environment's changed. That's why save percentage continues to come down. The shot quality continues to rise. So, for those reasons, I think that it's tough sometimes to get excited about somebody.
You're watching and listening to Steve Valiquette, analyst for the New York Rangers on MSG, CEO Clear Sight Analytics. All right, rebuilding and goalies. We got to talk about Calgary's Dustin Wolf and coming off a great season, but usually it doesn't amount to a $50 million contract right away. He's got it now. What are the challenges for Dustin now playing with expectations and a $52.5 million contract, over his head?
All right, so he gave up the most goals over his glove last year, and that's sometimes a concern because your second lap around the league gets more challenging. And with that said, this guy is at the highest level of ability and talent. And although he's not big, he finds ways to manage his size and still show up very big because of his speed east to west. One of the predictors that you're looking for in playoffs is to have your backup goalie support the starter with 25 points in the standings. And the other predictor you're looking for is to have your goalies overall to be in a positive frame for expected goals against. Last year, Calgary was second in the NHL with their goalie tandem at a plus 13.5, and they missed the playoffs. That makes me nervous because that number is going to be very tough to get to a second year in a row. And I remember this conversation, guys, with Dennis Weidman, coincidentally a Calgary Flame at the time. We were driving to a summer camp, and I asked him about his prospects with Calgary next year to make playoffs. And he said, it's going to be tough. We had at least 5 or 6 guys that had career years last year, and there's usually a dip in year 2. Right. At that time, wasn't really something that I was thinking about. It wasn't really on my radar, but I paid attention to what he said, and Calgary missed the playoffs that next season. And it's like the Washington Capitals. They have 4 of their top 5 leading scorers had career years last year, including their top defenseman and their goalie. What does that do to the Washington Capitals? For Calgary and for Dustin Wolf, I'm more concerned with, can you do it again, right? Because this is a pretty neat little stat, because I came up with this week. Last week, I was working on playoff markers and what teams can look to and track over the first 10 to 15 games. And we talked about the slot line differential, the differential on east to west, and how that can help be a predictor to playoffs or not. Well, this week I was looking at goalies and their impact to playoffs. All right, 11 of the 16 playoff teams, so nearly 70% of playoff teams last season, had positive goaltending value in our model. So it's proof that elite goaltending remains a big part of the predictor of playoff success, at least making the playoffs. And the 2 teams that were outliers that had great goaltending that didn't make it were the Calgary Flames and the New York Rangers. The New York Rangers were right behind Calgary. They were a plus 11.9. The Toronto Maple Leafs were plus 11.59. That was 5th best. But it's a predictor because you're looking at, what tandems are going to be able to withstand what is a long grind of an 82-game season. And I think this is interesting as well. Edmonton was 5th worst last year. Only 4 teams had a worse goaltending differential, and those teams were Seattle, Boston, Philadelphia, and San Jose. So there's a massive divide between the teams that make the playoffs, how solid they are in net, and then what happens after that, which is really outliers in a crapshoot.
Mm-hmm. So it's obviously so important for these teams to get this solid goaltending. And I'm looking at a team that's kind of fringy, and that's the Montreal Canadiens. Now, I really like Sam Montembeault, and I don't know goaltending. He just kind of reminds me of my buddy Barry Brust, who was a fantastic goaltender growing up with him. So watching,
he was chubby?
Well, yeah, well, he's got a full build. That's all.
Turk Brodish.
Sure,
Ish.
And I like Montembeault. Am I wrong in my assessment that this guy's a legitimate number 1?
Okay, I have a bit of an issue with Montembeault right now that I can't figure out, but I'll just tell you what I'm working through. 2 years ago, he was the best in the NHL. He had the best save percentage on screens. Last year, he had the worst save percentage on screens. How is that possible? Right?
Personnel change.
That's why you're on
Montreal?
the show. You have to tell us.
So I'm watching the video, and it looks to me like they are doing something different in front of their net. And as they're trying to front pucks instead of box out, he's maybe looking through an extra layer. But it's a guy that has the skill to be able to look over screens. He's big, and he's got very big posture. He's not a big goalie that plays small by any means. But in today's game with net front where it is, you need a goalie that has a top 5 save percentage with net front chances if you're going to have a long run. And to get to look back to last year with the playoff predictor for the goalies, Montreal wasn't that hot. Where were they? Yeah, they were in the bottom of the bottom third last year, fellas. So they were a -10. So based on their goaltending and their slot line differential, the first 2 markers I looked at this season, I'm going to continue to do this every week because it actually takes quite a bit of time. It doesn't just land in my lap, but they're all interesting conversations. It's like we're trying to figure out hockey and what matters because the game's changing and these trends are changing all the time. I think that screens matter, net front matters, and if he doesn't pick his save percentage up, I think that could hurt the Montreal Canadiens.
Valley, I'm going to switch gears, or at least switch positions here, and go to center ice in Vancouver and in Toronto. No 2 players, Pettersson and Matthews, have more pressure to come back and look like the guys that can lead with the salaries that they're commanding right now. Yeah. So what are the odds that both of them come back and Petey ends up with a 90, 100-point season and Matthews can look like he's scoring 50 or 60 goals again?
You know what, boys? I have a hard time with just looking at the volatility of goal scorers because oftentimes we hear that goalies are very streaky. I think scorers are just as streaky. And I think that we're also trying to figure out that when's the best time to pay a scorer? Is it after his career year, or is his career year maybe inflated by some of the scoring chances that he received or the luck that he received? So Pettersson, when he had 102 points, I thought this was very interesting. He had 23 breakaways that year, 23, and he scored 8. So he was a 35% shooter on breakaways. It's a good inflator. But can you explain to me how last season he only had 2 breakaways? 2. How do you go from
Slow?
23 to 2? And you saw the way that the season went for him last year. And his broken play goals the year that he had 102, it's pretty typical when somebody has a big goal scoring jump to have luck on their side. And again, my broken play would be a shot from the point that goes off a D's shin pad, just kicks to the back door, and it's a slam dunk goal. That would be an example of a broken play. Well, he had 8 of those during his big season. And typically, when you get to double digits, it's always a career year. I'm going to give you a few examples. Sam Reinhart, he's played in the NHL 10 years. He's never had a 40-goal season, but he had 57 goals. But that year that he had 57, he had 10 broken play goals. Andre Mangiapane is another good example. 7 NHL years. He's never had a 20-goal season, but he had a 35-goal season in the 21-22 season, 10 broken play goals. And Austin Matthews, when he had his 69 goals, I sent you guys that, he had 13 broken play goals the year that he had 69. And I watched them. Some of them were luck. Like, I mean, he threw them from the corner. They're going off skates. Yeah. Like, you know, like, and it goes your way. So I think that front offices have to really watch the goals and how they're going in before you're paying for those goals, because everybody that I've seen in the last 10 years that have career years, out of the norm career years, that's 69. I don't think we ever see from Austin again. And for a multitude of reasons, but it's the broken plays that can really overinflate, and then maybe you overpay for it. And you do overpay for it if you're not paying attention.
Just to follow up on Matthews, Marner, do you have anything on, like, he's going to be able to score without him, but how many?
Well, I've got a lot on Matthews, and, you know, I sent you guys those reports because I sort of wanted you guys to see that, just like what my process looks like. Like, this doesn't land in my lap, right, boys? Like,
hard worker.
So no, there's a lot of hard work here. So with Austin Matthews and his 69 goal season, what I see right now is that, and this is interesting because even the very best scorers don't just walk into the slot by themselves unimpeded and beat a goalie clean, right? So Austin Matthews, when he has his 69 goals, 30 times he walked into the slot, but he only scored 4 goals when he stayed on one side of the ice or the other. And the reason why this is important, and this is even with chances with time and space, and the reason why this is important is because he is an elite first touch shooter that needs to receive a pass to move the goalie to then have success. Again, he's not going to do it by himself. He's not going to make the goalie move and influence in a way that he's going to open up a side. He's just going to head it every time. So the year that Austin Matthews, well, we went over this last week, that he had 20 goals, he had 69 scoring chances that came across the slot. Now, his overall production and passes received, when he went from 20 goals across the slot to just 7, that's a 53% decrease in scoring chances. The one-timers, this is a big one because one-timers from the same side of the ice, it's the soft spot. It's achievable. You can get there, and scorers can break away from their check and get those opportunities. But his goal output went from 13 to 3, 69 goals versus his 33 goals last year. That's a 41% drop. So you couple these things up, and then I'm looking at the Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner connection. And last year, the total passes received from Austin Matthews from Mitch were down 20%. From 111 to 89. And even worse is the high danger chances were down almost 40%. So that's what this game is all about. But Marner
ended up with 100 points.
I know, but not a big influencer on Matthews. Not.
I also think that a lot of that stuff is influenced by Matthews. Because to me, it's like when coaches say this guy needs to shoot more, what they really mean is you need to get in shooting spots more. They don't want you just heaving pucks from wherever. And like Matthews, if he's not getting as many passes from Marner, part of that is not getting to spots. you got to be moving in a way that gets open, that gets separation, or you never see the puck. So if a player is down, it's not just like the passer didn't get it to him. I think a lot of time is maybe he's not getting to the spots as well.
And I think that's where it is, Borny. And, you take the information that is out there and you've got to take it to the player because these guys are working in tandems. And as I went through a lot of different, Maple Leaf combinations, Nylander's numbers are actually pretty close as a playmaker to Marner. And it'll be interesting to see if he can elevate enough to maybe help Matthews. So that's another thing to look at.
All right.
Just goalies that can rebound this year for you off the top of your head. Swayman, such a tough start. The contract last year behind the 8 ball from the get-go, never caught up. Are we going to see an $8.5 million goalie out of the gate here?
Did you see his interview the other day where he was referring to himself in the third person?
No.
Oh, no. Is he that guy?
Dangerous. This is not the Jeremy Swayman. Jeremy Swayman's going to do this. I'm like, oh,
That's
boy.
the JR thing. That's not JR hockey, JR says.
Yeah, I
We
don't
love
know.
JR,
I'm
though.
like, I saw that one. I was like, oh. So somebody's going to have to reel him in. I mean, he was so bad last year. It's hard to make a safe assumption to say he's going to be so much better this year. The only goalie that performed worse than Swayman last year was Georgiev in our expected goals model. So he's got a long way to go. I don't think Boston's a playoff team again, Kyper, and I don't think that Swayman's going to have a good year. If I'm going to put money on it, that would be my bet.
All right.
Boston hopes he doesn't.
Kicks off fall tonight, triple header. Your Rangers going to make the playoffs? Team you cover? How good does Shesterkin have to be this year?
Well, that's a little bit of nerve-wracking business right there. The fun, it's like everyone's asking me, am I excited for the season? I'm curious.
Covering the Leafs.
That's
no
an
idea what
interesting word.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it there before I get myself in trouble. But let's not forget, we've got Grill the Panel.
Oh, my God.
All right.
All right, we'll do it quick. I know you guys are probably out of time.
That's
crunch.
okay. Go ahead.
All right,
We forgot about this segment.
So the standings from last week: Kyper 3, Sammy 1, Borny, you lost the baseball game, so you got a 0 there.
All right.
All right, quickly for the baseball game tonight: Yanks or Toronto?
How do you come on here and say?
You know what?
Kipper's gonna say
I
Yankees.
think the Yankees are going to make it interesting. I see a tough environment tonight for the Jays.
I see a tough environment tonight for the Yankees when they start booing them after they've booed the ball around 4 times. I'm saying Jays.
Sammy's
tonight.
taking the sweep.
Yeah.
I
Get the brooms.
think I'm going to go with Kyper here. I just feel like it's going to be tough to sweep a good team.
Okay, I'm with you guys. Yanks all the way.
Yeah. Sure.
All right. Last season, which NHL player set up his teammates, since we're talking about passing and playmaking a lot today, for the most scoring chances, meaning he was the primary passer leading directly to those chances? I'm going to give you 4 options: Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon, Nikita Kucherov, Mitch Marner.
Cooch for me.
I'll go Marner.
I'll take McDavid.
It was Nathan McKinnon, 311
Oh, we're all
times.
zeros?
Really? Yeah.
Zeros. Ouch.
Nathan McKinnon.
That's
Ouch.
great.
Interesting name here, though, too. Lane Hudson was tops among all defensemen.
Wow.
219. Yeah.
Shocked.
And they didn't want to pay him, huh? All right.
No, they'll get there, I think.
Okay. Third question. Now, the best player at delivering high danger scoring chances to his teammate off the pass. So the best playmaker at giving the high dangers to his teammate. We've got Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon, Nikita Kucherov, Mitch Marner, or David Pastrnak.
Same guys.
The fact that he has passed it in there feels a little suspicious.
I'm going to go Connor.
I'm going to double down with McDavid, yeah.
Okay, I'll double down with Marner.
Okay, and McDavid, and it's actually by a pretty long margin,
Let's go, boy.
125.
All right,
The next
Wow.
closest was McKinnon with 112. Like
125 is crazy.
Yeah.
You're right
Yeah,
back
he
in
had
it.
70.
Back in the mix.
You know what McDavid had 71 east to west passes to his teammates for slam dunks
Wow,
last year.
the Draisaitl.
Draisaitl's just
Yeah,
eaten.
to Leon.
Yeah. Yeah. So All right, fellas.
Good work, Valley. Thanks,
Wow.
pal. You're the best.
Okay, Valley, great job as always.
Have a
Looking
great
forward
year.
to you next week. Enjoy the start of the season, pal. Thanks
Let's
for
go,
doing this.
Yankees. Let's go.
See you, Valley.
Game time.
Let's hit the break. We'll do it after.
You heard the man. Game time when we return it. Also, a lot of fines in Florida. A lot of fines. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy in
Not
Florida.
the
A
mother
reminder, this
Panthers.
Tampa Bay, Kyper and Bourne, brought to you by
Florida
Panthers. 365. We'll tell you who has to pay what. 3 games and who's missing tonight. At the start of the season. All the first 3 games of the National Hockey League season. And Bourne. 5 p.m. Eastern, Florida and Chicago. 8 p.m. Eastern, Rangers, Penguins. Followed up at 10:30 Eastern, Avs versus the Kings.
Awesome first day. Let me ask you a question.
Oh,
And
We got to do game time.
oh,
before you-
okay, go ahead.
You can ask, and then you
Well,
can go.
we just talked about
All right,
this.
getting game time.
We got to do
I got
game
it.
time.
It's
before
not
you-
important.
Yeah.
You're the producer. What am I? I'm nothing.
I was like, well, when we come
Just
back,
a
we're definitely
Stanley
doing
Cup champion.
It's game time presented by Bet365. Visit the app, latest odds, and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. Thought I'd bring up some NHL futures since it's getting underway tonight. The favorite for the Hart Memorial Trophy. This is a big time surprise. The top 3 favorites. Be really surprised by these.
Yeah.
David McKinnon and
Makar.
Nikita Kucherov. So it's McDavid,
Points, and I'm like, yeah.
2-1. McKinnon is plus 475. Kucherov plus 850. Kaprizov 10-1. Draisaitl 10-1. Matthews 18-1, and Pastrnak at 20-1.
Where's Quinn Hughes?
Quinn Hughes is down the list here. Maybe it's not that far down the list. I'm not. Oh yeah, he's 40-1.
40-1.
Yeah.
He's gonna get 90 points and lead the Canucks. 90.
Got a
The
hell of a season.
the Vezina Trophy favorite, as you would imagine, is
Shesterkin.
Hellebuck.
yep
Hellebuck.
plus 325. Shesterkin's next plus 650. Vasilevsky plus 850. Ottinger 15-1. If you wanted to bet on Stolars, he's not that much long of a 25-1.
No, don't want that.
Don't want that.
Hey, but I didn't hate that Austin Matthews 18-1 one.
No, I mean, a lot of narratives for him.
As a bet goes.
And this one's interesting to me. Jack Adams Award winner, the favorite.
Everyone's picking what's his name in Utah? Turnier.
Yeah. That is the favorite. The favorite for the
Plus,
coach.
he asked us how to pronounce it in commeral break.
That also had it on my mind.
That kind of tipped.
But there's another one that I
it.
saw
Crap.
everywhere.
Joel Quenneville's the next
You
favorite.
coming across
That's a
like
good
you knew that.
No, but I saw Daily Face Off did
You're
a
a
10
smart guy.
Hey,
No, I am. Daily Face Off did a 10-person vote, and 8 of them had
you've
Turnier.
never acted in your life. I know that now.
And Joel Quenneville's the next at plus 850. Martin St. Louis at 10-1. Everson 11-1. So basically, all the teams they expect to kind of go past expectations.
Right.
Of the Faves. So
Yeah.
there you go. Norris is who you'd expect. Makar, Quinn Hughes, and Werenski.
Talk to me about Lane Hudson.
Lane Hudson is not that far down the list. 22-1.
Kid, get it.
You like the bet?
Well, you're not looking to get a 4-1 guy when you put your money in and it sits there for 8 months. You'd like to hit on something a little longer. So
And
I do like to,
just
I like these.
just a quick one here.
but I
quick-
can't actually bet
Quick
on them
Jays.
because I vote.
Yeah.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in his career on Carlos Rodon, the pitcher for the New York Yankees tonight, is
10 for 10.
10 for 17 in his career. OPS of 1650.
He loves hitting there.
And he loves hitting off this guy, and he's smoking hot. Give me a Vladdy home run today at plus 425.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay.
Be a
That-
Santander homer.
and that was Game Time presented by Bet365. Visit the app for latest odds and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly.
Okay, we did touch on this a little bit, I think yesterday, but I don't know. It deserves more of a conversation, and this is this whole Tampa Bay Lightning versus Florida Panthers suspensions off the exhibition game. The NHL has suspended Scott Sabrin 4 games and defenseman JJ Moiser for 2 games in that preseason game. And we had Commissioner Bettman on yesterday, and we did speak of it.
If you missed that interview, go check it
Yeah, you can download it.
Where you guys grinded him to dust.
Yeah, but he the first thing he
Guy just wanted to
said
promote his league, guys. Holy.
when we brought it up is that's not what we're that's not what we're about, or
Yeah.
we're
Not what we're trying to be, kind of
it's
thing.
not
Yeah.
what we're just about.
Yeah.
Which, I think he hates the perception of it. He loves everything about how tough
He
we
likes
are.
it. People like it.
Our game,
People
how
like it.
tough our game is,
Yeah.
but he's got to play the part on that.
Of course
but
he does.
come on, a lot of people are sitting there. I'll tell you what my first thought is, that teams are now going to sit there and look at Florida and say, we've had enough of your crap, serving the crap sandwich. I ain't eating it anymore. That's what I got out of Tampa Bay this weekend, is that they came right back at them and said, exhibition game, no exhibition game, outdoor game, pond hockey, road hockey. I don't care. We're not eating your crap sandwich anymore. That's what I got out of it.
Well, can I tell you, this relates to the thing I was going to say before game time. I was going to ask if you had seen the Panthers Stanley Cup rings.
Yeah.
If you guys saw them.
Nice.
They
Yeah.
are. They're very nice. On the inside, the inscription is,
No apologies
we apologize to no one.
to no one.
And
Great.
it has Toronto crossed
Yes.
out and whoever else
Yeah.
they beat in the playoffs, I don't even know.
So,
Yeah.
hey, Toronto got their name on a Stanley Cup ring, boys.
We apologize to no one, which is, by the way, you grab onto Conor McGregor. That's the name you want
Who's
to
Con-
Yeah.
Connor, is
And
that what it is? Is that what it's a thing about? Is that what it's off of?
I'd like to apologize
To-
to absolutely no one. That's all it is.
I love it too. I love that part too. I'm not looking for any apologies. I'm looking for
Right, but my point is,
like hard hockey.
you're right. People are going to say,
Yes.
okay, well, if that's the way we're doing it, that's the way
Yes.
we're doing it.
Yeah, I mean,
How many can play like that though?
but I mean, it's easy for them to play like that when they get away with everything, and they've gotten away with murder for multiple seasons. No, they have. Like,
stop it.
no,
No,
Kipper,
no,
listen here
no,
for
no.
a second. Listen to me, man.
You're
The only
making
thing-
apologies, Sam.
The only thing.
Stop it.
The only thing that they got punished for was a fine for AJ Greer injuring Brandon Hagel in a preseason game. And then what you're supposed to do is send out what you, and the Lightning got suspensions, fines. The team got suspended $100,000. And,
You just
John
sound-
Cooper gets
Listen,
suspended.
I love you, but you're just a crybaby. Okay,
Totally.
You're-
I completely agree with that.
You're the kid that runs
Yeah.
to the principal's office and tells on everyone.
they've gotten
Nobody's got time for that,
They've gotten
Sammy.
preferential treatment from
Oh.
we don't apologize to anyone because we can run around and punch people in the head and elbow goalies and do whatever the hell we
So-
want and we don't get suspended.
So
we
go-
don't get suspended.
Go cry to somebody then.
I
Sammy.
cry every day on national TV.
and nobody
What else am I supposed to do?
and nobody cares.
Well, everyone cares except people like you who seem like you don't want to care, and like the Panthers who are like, oh, we don't apologize to nobody because the league doesn't punish them the same way they punish other people. That's just the way it is.
I don't believe that it's true. That
I don't believe it's
prefer-
true.
it's preferential.
I don't.
I do.
Why?
I do.
Why would you give? Why? If you can pick any market to build up hockey,
Why would they want the Panthers to
Because-
win? What's the incentive?
because
why the Panthers?
I mean,
why do they get? Because
we had
what,
the
it's
commissioner
warm
on
weather?
here, and I mean, he's like, that's one of the places he
Hey.
put hockey, and they want to keep hockey popular there. Listen, I'm not saying it's fixed. I'm just saying they get away with murder. Sam Bennett
they've
threw
had good luck.
he threw a flying rabbit punch on Brad
Getting away
Marchand
with
in the playoffs.
murder is fixed.
Yeah.
They do. They do. I'm not saying it's fixed. I'm not an idiot. But they definitely get preferential treatment. I'm sorry. It's flat out. It's flat out true.
People are saying, not to be Trump, but people are saying that is true. People are saying that. That's the thing they're saying.
I just
That they get
say,
preferential treatment.
hey, get bigger, get tougher, and
Oh,
fight
but-
back.
And they did. They just did. And then they got the book thrown at them, and the Panthers got nothing. Carter Verhaeghe barbecues a guy from behind in a preseason game in a malicious factor. Nothing. But Sabrin 4 games, Moser 4 games, $100,000 fine to the Lightning,
Coop got
25K for Coop. It's like, this is a penalty. This is a suspension. No question.
A lot of illegal.
But you know what doesn't happen? If they suspend AJ Greer for going after Hagel, this doesn't happen. They sent him out there to do this because of what happened before. You know hockey better than anybody, Kipper. Like, you can't put your head in the sand with this stuff. Obviously, this was in response to something else.
Good. Respond then.
But then they get punished. The little precious Panthers are like, oh, we did nothing wrong, as usual.
Back to my Stanley Cup ring question.
Anyways,
So they have 2 cups.
they're good enough.
On the
They don't
ring.
need the treatment. I'm done.
There's 2 cups on the Stanley Cup ring. I don't know how I feel about that. Like a guy like Marchand gets his ring and there's 2 cups on it. He won 1 cup. He was not all the players won the 2
Ooh.
cups. How do you feel about the 2 cups? I don't know. To me,
The Islanders did 4.
the Islanders had diamonds. 1 diamond for 1, 2 diamonds for
Okay,
2, 3 diamonds for 3, etc.
I don't know if it's an Edmonton Oiler ring or the Islander ring, but I do recall seeing consecutive cups on it to represent the organization's
Yeah.
2 cups.
I think I'm okay with it. I think you are the
Yeah,
organization.
I've never thought of it that
Yeah.
way before. You're the first person to bring it up, and I saw the 2 cups, and I said that's really cool. But
Yeah.
if someone wasn't part of the first one, it's not your 2 cups; it's the
Almost like you
team's
borrowed one of me.
first 2 cups. So I
Nate
don't know.
Schmidt's like, I have
I
2
thought
now?
I thought it was very tasteful.
I mean, they're cool. They got the rat on the inscription as well.
Very tasteful.
We apologize.
Big
to no one.
rat on it. We apologize to nobody. Tasteful. That's what I say with the Panthers. Always tasteful team. Barry Zito. Just trade them all. Trade them all. I'm Barry Zito. I'll trade them all. I don't care.
Tasteful
The rules
is a
don't apply to
hilarious
us.
description.
We don't need rules. We're Florida.
A tissue couldn't absorb those tears. We need we need the
he
sponge.
couldn't lose his voice
we need
worse.
a big, we need the
Yeah,
sham.
there's a lot of people
What
being
was
like,
that guy?
Sham wow.
The sham wow.
Vinny out here.
For your tears, we need the sham wow.
I'm here for a reason.
Kleenex wouldn't do it.
I'm here for a reason, boys, and it's to cry.
Oh my
Listen,
God!
he's giving voice to the people.
Not the people, just his
He's giving voice to
super
some
Leaf
people.
fans.
Oh, well, guess what? Guess who's the most listeners on our show? My beloved Leaf Nation. And I'll always fight for you.
Good hustle today, Sam.
Thanks, bud.
All right, go.
Alex Pietrangelo placed on long-term IR for the season and playoffs.
Yeah, but we said
We
his
didn't know
career's
playoffs.
over.
I don't know. People were going.
No.
There was a thing in the preseason being like he might play this
I
year.
know,
That
I
was the
know. He
thing.
put that out
Yeah.
and he talked about it, but
Yeah.
like everything was pointed to this guy
I thought he'd be in playoffs.
not coming back.
So that was part of the Vegas thing. So yeah, that's a significant. I mean, that hurts.
They were totally prepared for this guy to never play again.
Well, that's why they paid Marner. I would like to retroactively take back some of the things I said about the Four Nations face-off, and I mean that sincerely. Like, I was hard on Pietrangelo for not going. Everyone went. And then he played after the Four Nations. It was like, if you can play, why can't you play? I get him being like, we got a chance at the Stanley Cup. I got to just see if I can get healthier. I get it.
I apologize to nobody.
I apologize to absolutely nobody. Yeah.
I don't think it'll be your last apology this year.
I can just not apologize, but I am. People say I'm tasteful. That's what they say.
Boy, did you get hammered on that?
No,
Oh, no.
but it does
Also,
bother
we
me.
did get hammered about McDavid yesterday, for sure. A lot of tears, a lot of like all Toronto tears,
Why?
because we were mad about it.
No, we're
wasn't
not.
mad.
That's so not true.
Great.
It is not true. People want to take it where
The all-time greats always take less, and he did that.
Connor.
And you got to give him a ton of
Connor
credit.
can take whatever he wants. At the end of the day, he's going to make $200 million. So what? He left what? How much on the table? Nobody cares. Nobody cares at the end of the day.
Bowman cares.
You know, I just don't like the optics of it that Kaprizov, who's done squat, is making $5 more million than the best player on the planet who took his Stanley Cup
Same amount of rings.
team to the finals.
Same amount of rings.
3
for those
times,
two guys.
right?
You guys want to apologize to anyone before we go?
One's a little more proven, Sammy.
I apologize to
Okay.
Carlos Rodon for the beating he's going to take tonight. Go Jays!
All right. It all kicks off tonight. Don't forget those 3 NHL games between Sammy's Jays.
Oh, yeah.
Enjoy your night, everybody.